Hello, all you drama enthusiasts. Welcome to the meeting. This is Angie's Drama Room, and I am your meeting host, Angie, where we do drama reviews on all things dramas, focusing on K-dramas, C-dramas, Japanese dramas, Thai dramas, any dramas that I have watched lately, and I try to give you my point of view of those dramas. Thank you for joining in on the meeting. Today we're going to be talking about Motel California. It's a Korean mellow romantic drama, I guess you want to say. But before I go into that, I'd like to talk about Lee Min Ho's new drama, When the Stars Gossip. That's an interesting show. The reason why I say that is because at first I thought it was going to be another melodrama, again, like a drama, but however, it has comedy in it. So it has a little slapstick comedy in it. And so it's lighthearted drama. But that's not the interesting thing about it. So right now, I'm believing going into this weekend now, we're going into, I think, episode 5 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. I stopped at episode 2. And technically, I barely pushed it through episode 2. It's an interesting show. It's about a gynecologist who got blacklisted by a CEO because of his daughter had an issue with her pregnancy, and they blamed it him, but it was a natural currency in her pregnancy. That's the reason why they blamed him for it. So the CEO blacklisted him from going to other hospitals. But in the meantime, he had the CEO's daughter-in-law was also his patient, and she was having troubles conceiving. So, but it was because of her husband, who was the CEO's son, had issues with his fishies, right? I'm trying to be a little bit more light here because, hey, you don't know what YouTube will do, right? The YouTube bandits come in and try to take over, right? But that's kind of how it happened. Way he goes up into space is because the son-in-law dies in some type of tragic accident. Okay, yeah. And the daughter-in-law has yet to get pregnant, so she wanted to have it. So what happened was some studies showed that the fishies will work better in space. So there we go. He's in space now. And the commander on the ship, on the spaceship, you'd think she was a stern person, but no, she was very lighthearted. But then when it's time to be serious, she was serious. That's the reason I thought, I was like, wow, this is kind of weird. I never would have thought this. But it was so boring. That was the main thing. It's just boring. Maybe if there's nothing else intriguing coming on, maybe I'll try to hit that up again, but it's so boring. They spent almost a whole scene on these little fruit flies, and I'm just like everybody else, like, just knock them out the way and open the hatch, But anyway, so that's kind of interesting. I just want to throw that in there. So let's talk about what I was actually here talking to you about, which was Motel California. So I was turning it on, and I was watching the first 2 episodes, and it's very fast-paced dialogue. On the first 2 episodes, it's very fast-paced dialogue. And it almost misses it because the dialogue is so fast-paced that the subtitles disappear before you can read it. So I had to rewind it to try to figure out if I missed anything, but I didn't miss anything, so I kept going. And it's not a bad show, but there's no plot. No, I mean, I don't think there is a plot. I mean, there's no storytelling. There's no distinct where are we going with the story. So basically what I come out of it here, we have our male lead here who was Na In-woo, that's his name. So he was chubby when he was little, right? And then in his adult life, he's supposed to have been chubby in his adult life, and then his teen life, and then his adult life, he lost all the weight. Now, to me, in his teen life up into his 20s, I really didn't see him as a chubby person. All I saw was prosthetics and Patty. That's all I saw. I think if they didn't do the prosthetics and they kind of used the padding itself, and that would probably been better. But again, I think people a lot of probably turned that off because of that. But it wasn't that bad. I didn't like Atypical Family because it was insulting when she was in it because of the role she was playing and how they made her do certain things. I didn't like that. But him, it wasn't that. It was just the fact that they wanted him to be chubby as he little, and as he grows up to his 20s, he was chubby, and then after his 20s, he went into he lost a lot of the weight. Well, what was the reason? Who knows? Because really, they haven't even gotten that far yet. And then we have our female lead here, Lee Sin Young. Now, both of them, I mean, I really like these characters. I mean, these actors, excuse me. They are very good in this. But again, I don't know why I'm not turning it away because I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the story. Let me give you a little synopsis of what they're saying. That is the synopsis of the story. So it says here, Jin Jong Hee, who is Lee Sin Young, which is the female lead, grew up in a motel. Grew up at Motel California. Now that's the name of the motel. So she grew up in a motel. The motel was called Motel California. Because her father ran. That's because her father ran the motel, and it was in a rural hometown village. Her mother also came from a mixed race background. What did that mean? And at this point, they haven't revealed the mother. So all we saw right now at this point was her father. So I'm not quite sure what that meant, but okay. Due to Ji Jong Hee's unusual family background, she was the object of whisperers and gossipers. Yes, that's true. By the local residents. Ji Jong Hee carried a deep wound in her heart from that time. She liked her childhood friend Chang Yul Soo, which was our male lead Na In Swoo, who was her first love. Okay, but when she turned 20, she left her hometown and moved to Seoul. 12 years later, she works at an interior designer interior designer company, which she does. Well, actually, she kind of got shunned to like doing construction for the interior designer. But it was another woman there who kind of allowed her to. She liked how her style was, so she took her out the construction yard and put her into the office. Let's see here. She left her hometown and moved to Seoul. 12 years later, she works as an interior designer and is reaching the apex of her career. Well, kind of not, but okay. But for some reason, well, we know the reason why she had to go back home. She decided to return to her hometown. Well, we know why. It's not some reason, but we know why she did because I explained it to you in episode 2. Um, yeah. For some reason, so she decided to return her hometown. She reunites with her first love, Chu Yeon Soo. Okay. Now, Chu Young. So technically, the first 2 episodes really focused on her. Okay, and every once in a while they bring in Chu Young Soo, which was our male lead. So every once in a while they brought him in. But in the first 2 episodes, 2 to 3 episodes, really focused on her, and it actually opened up on the first episode where they had a one night stand, chubby suit and all. I'm like, and the padding on that and on they used on him was so bad. I'm like, it looks like they just stuffed him with a bunch of socks and towels. But anyway, but the prosthetics was on point. But however, I didn't. That's all I saw was prosthetics. I didn't see a chubby face because it wasn't natural looking. So then here we have our male lead, Chu Yeon Soo, works as a veterinarian in the village. The only woman he loved was our female lead, Jin Jang Hee, excuse me. But he has received a lot of attention from the farmers who are eager to introduce him to their daughter. So yeah, so she's in Seoul. He's in whatever here that the hometown village he lived. He stayed there, and the villager's like, "Hey, I got I got a single daughter. Come on, right?" But his eyes, of course, was all on our female lead here, Gang Hui. So then here we got says here, induce her to their daughters. In order to avoid these kinds of uncomfortable situations, he doesn't clarify the rumor that he is going to marry a fellow veterinarian. It hasn't even gotten to that plot yet. Because all we know right now is him chasing after Jang Hee. Matter of fact, he chased her so far. He like, I guess the year after she left, she basically distanced herself. She told after the one night stand, literally that same night, she goes to Seoul, takes her to the bus stop, and she said, "I'm never coming back. Don't change." Well, who are you to tell me not to change, right? But that's how it happened. Kind of begged her father, for information to where she is, and they won some type of contest. And because they won this contest, the father agreed to give him some information, and the only thing he can give him was the fact that she's working part-time at a convenience store. A year later, that's all he's been doing for a full year, going to convenience store to convenience store within that Seoul school district that he told her to find her. Okay, so then his first love, Jang Hee, appears again after 12 years. And we know why, so, but I'm not going to tell you why. Because you're going to have to watch it just like I did. It's fast-paced dialogue. You really have to read it. By the time I believe, I think we're on episode either going to 4 or 5. I can't remember. But however, by that time, they kind of slowed down the pace of the dialogue. But still, there's no understanding of her mental capacity because it's trying to say something without saying it. And you're trying to think, is it just her one of those imagination things, you know, how they had Sumi Sale or the that cartoon, I can't even think of it, where, you know, they have the different people in her mind, but it shows people, actual people that she's seen. And then one scene she said, "I just remembered why I did this." What does that mean? Is she having issues? So yeah, it's no story. It's not telling a story. It's not giving us any storyline here. They're kind of just giving us scene by scene by scene until they're ready to paste everything together. So yeah, that's kind of how Motel California. But again, I'm still watching it. I don't know why, but I am. You'll think I would have gave up on it, but I'm still trying to, because actually Lee Si-young and Na In-woo are really good. If you don't know Na In-woo, if you liked Marry My Husband, that was the male lead in Marry My Husband. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I'm still kind of watching it. I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. That's the synopsis. I just gave you the synopsis they said in the little app here. And tell me if you have started it. What did you think about it? Leave a comment and let me know. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the descriptions I have gotten. And also hit that like button. That way other people can see my reviews. Thank you for joining me. Meeting adjourned.